Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at a new starter Pokemon here as well, the water starter Quaquaval, I think it's called. I'm not sure if it's supposed to sound that weird, but yeah, we're going to take a look at the water starter of the Paldean region. It's a water and fire type Pokemon, just like the Poliwrath here right now, so we're going to play it both together. I really want to try out the Poliwrath right now as well, because I haven't really tried it out yet, and the Shadow variant looks really fun in the current meta. Having access to Ice Punch, which is really good for Gligar, or like even something like Altaria, as well as Power Punch, allowing it to basically farm down all the Steel type Pokemon, the normal type Pokemon that are currently around, where there are quite a lot of them, like Lickitung, like the Steelix, like the Registeel, and definitely one of the coolest Pokemon on this team here for sure. But today we're gonna of course take a look at Quaquaval, and here we're going to have a very bad scenario for us already, because we're going to generate at the same speed as the opponent basically here. We're going to be forced to use two baits here in order to maybe outspeed them, because they are one fast move advantage while we are dancing here like crazy. We're going to swing the leg, and our wing attack as a fast move is going to be very cool for this Pokemon, as well as Aerial Ace as a bait works out super well. We just have to hope that they're not at 2 moves yet, and they are barely not, as we win CMP, and the close combat is going to be able to finish up this first game here, winning us this one thanks to a sweep of Quaquaval at the end game there. So let's take a look at the next team while talking a little bit about the team. We're going to have a lead here of Cresselia, allowing us to counter something like a Lantern, which is really important for the backline, but also we need a hard answer for the for the Medicham, which is the main reason why we have this Pokemon here. But sadly, I did not really think about Charizard with this team building, so that's Pokemon definitely going to be a little bit tricky. I haven't really seen too many Charizards either recently. This is, I think, the first one I've seen all season. So, yeah, that's also mainly why I didn't really think about this Pokemon. I actually don't know why people stopped using it though. I feel like it's fairly decent in the current meta, but of course with the Lantern buff it now can like farm it down. I think with Spark, I guess like the Charizard is not ideal anymore. But in general, team idea here, we're going to have a hard answer for Medicham and Lantern in the lead. We're going to have a safe swap here of the Quaquaval, being able to bait out hopefully the Medicham and doing super effective damage against it with both Aerial Ace as well as Wing Attack. And this is also the main reason why I decided to not go for Liquidation, which is Pokemon also would learn. So like in general, the starters got a fairly decent move pool this time around, which is really cool to see. You already maybe saw the fire type starter on my channel earlier. I was able to showcase that one because someone sent me some battles in already. But I'm going to try to showcase all the new Pokemon already today on this channel. So if you enjoy this early content for like new Pokemon, feel free to leave a like. Would really appreciate it. Helps out the channel, as well as you can of course subscribe to the channel as well. But sadly, this Medicham here was a little bit too much. So let's take a look at the next opponent here. We're going to have the Poliwrath in the lead. Great lead for us. The most likely going to swap out here, and they're going to swap out into the Shadow. No, actually, it's a normal Steelix this time around. We are the Shadow one. I always kind of confuses if I'm Shadow and like have like those huge bubbles around me if the opponent is also Shadow, because it looks kind of like the Steelix is in a Shadow bubble, but it's actually not the case, so it's a little bit confusing for me sometimes. But you're going to be able to go ahead and go for a Power Punch in order to knock them out. Against the Shadow variant, you can just farm down. Against the normal variant, you have to go still for another Power Punch, just like against the Serperior. Serperior is also a Pokemon I really want to take a look at again. Maybe even build one for Ultra League, which I haven't done yet. But this Pokemon itself definitely got an upgrade nowadays with the fast move, or with the charge move, not wing attack, Aerial Ace, of course. Aerial Ace going to get a buff there on this Pokemon as well, giving it a secondary coverage move, which is really cool. So definitely also a very strong Pokemon now in the meta. I think actually ranked like below rank 30 on PvPoke as well. So very strong Pokemon, definitely. Very bulky grass type. As you're going to now be able to farm down the opponent's Poliwrath, I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Grass Knot here. My only play here, or my only objective here basically is trying to get the opponent low, because I can farm down with Wing Attack eventually, and as long as I don't swap out here and as long as the opponent doesn't farm me down, I'm going to be fine, because I still have a shield left. And like this, my opponent also realizes this and see that I'm going to forfeit there, so that's going to be very nice. You're going to be able to win another game with our Quaquaval. Great lead for us, but very bad save-up for us. It is fine to encounter one of them, because Gligar usually loses against the Cresselia, which is fine for me. But if they're also going to have a Lantern, of course, which completely destroys my backline, I basically need my Cresselia for 2 Pokemon right now. My opponent plays this insanely well. Like, I kind of want to give my opponent a little bit of credit here for how they play this matchup. As you're going to see here right now, they're going to bait me first, which was great for them. Now they're going to go for the Dig move here, which is definitely also a great play by them. But it's not only going to stop here. The opponent makes it like great in general, like great plays all over the place. As we're going to see that I'm going to swap out into my Quaquaval, but also, because they went for the bait first, they're now going to be able to outspeed me to the aerial ace. So actually I would have been able to knock them out here with the aerial ace, but I think I had to basically try to go for an aggressive farm down there, and I'm just going to forfeit here. Great energy management from the opponent there with the Gligar, so not a lot that I can do there, really. Great play by them. But yeah, in general, this was a little bit of an awkward scenario because I needed the Cresselia for 2 Pokemon there. Now we're going to have a great matchup. We saw the Altaria already in the lead, and we see now the Azumarill swapping in against us. What I'm going to do here right now is actually an interesting play. You're going to see me here letting this move go through. The opponent has a ton of energy, and I'm going to swap immediately into my Poliwrath. This seems like a little bit weird because the opponent is going to be able to still get to another charge move here, of course, as well as they have Fairy type against me as a fighting type. But what I try to do here right now is, as you may be already seen, I just try to get energy, because if the opponent is going to run an Altaria, it's very likely that they're going to have something like a Registeel or like a Steel type in the back. So I predicted this, as well as I kind of want to just have energy for the Ice Punch damage, which is the best move that I can go for against the Altaria anyway. Now I predict that they're going to have most likely a fighting type, like a Steel type in the back, which I was totally right about. So like this, I'm going to be in a really good spot because I just predicted the opponent's team, as well as just try to play it a little bit advanced in terms of the turns in my head. So yeah, we're going to be able to go for a bait, and this bait is going to be able to get the shield as we can go for the close combat. Is this enough to knock out the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk? It is not, but we can swap out into our Cresselia, go for the full farm down here with the Psycho Cut, and I can just go for another Moonblast and win this game. By the way, Quaquaval right now is already fairly decent, but just imagine this Pokemon with Hydro Cannon as well. Then you're going to have 2 insanely hard-hitting charge moves that are both step, as well as you're going to have a fast move already, which you already have on this Pokemon, which it definitely never going to lose, which is going to generate you a ton of energy. So basically, you're going to have always, like whenever the community day comes to this Pokemon, you're going to have one of the coolest new Pokemon ever, because it's going to have a double step Hydro Cannon close combat. This sounds so insane to me that I can't wait to really try this out one. It's going to be so much fun. Right now, of course, you would be able to already play Liquidation on it, but it's of course not the same compared to the Hydro Cannon, especially as you get to the Hydro Cannon after just 5 fast moves here, just like the Aerial Ace, just Aerial Ace plus I think 25 damage, so plus step, which is just making it so strong. As we were able to actually here knock out the Medicham, weirdly enough, and we're going to have now the Registeel in the back, which I'm going to go for an interesting play here right now. You're going to see me go into my Cresselia instead of my fighting type Pokemon, because I'm going to try to get a shield advantage here, or a shield from the opponent in general, because right now if the opponent has 2 shields left, I'm fairly certain they're going to outspeed me with their Registeel to close combats. But if I get the shield here and they're going to throw against me, which they're going to do right now, they're most likely at 100 energy at this point of time, but go for 80 energy Zapkins, they most likely have 20 left, but I will be able to now use a shield against the opponent, and I should be able to outspeed them to the next close combat here for sure. I'm going to build up to, I thought it was be 2, but it wasn't 2, so we're going to now still be able to get to 1 here, and 1 more fast move is enough to get us to another close combat and finish up this game with our Quaquaval, which is going to be very good. Let's take a look at the next opponent. Sableye in the lead. This is not really ideal for us, so I'm going to swap out immediately, and we're going to get out the Dewgong, which is interesting, as I will be able to most likely one-shot them with 1 close combat. I actually don't think it actually one-shots them. We saw already a matchup against the Galarian Stunfisk before, similar bulk to this one, so we most likely do around like 80-90%. So this next close combat would also not knock them out, but we're going to use a CMP here as to our advantage, because the opponent going to go for their own charge move. It's going to be the Icy Wind, and like this, I'm going to be able to just swap out into my Poliwrath and get an energy lead here right now. They're going to swap out onto the Sableye, which is amazing for me because this is my best answer right now for the Sableye, which usually would be a little bit tricky to deal with. So like this, I will be able to go ahead, go for another Ice Punch and get them insanely low. I will use a shield here right now just so I can keep my Poliwrath alive, as I now try to swap out immediately against the Dewgong, because they're gonna go ahead and go for the Drill Run here, which we can take onto our Cresselia. But now it depends on what they're going to have in the back. I just hope that they don't have like something in the back that can farm down our Cresselia or something like this. And it's going to be, of course, one of the worst possible Pokemon. It's going to be the Alolan Sandslash. It's the Shadow Alolan Sandslash with the Shadow Claw as a fast move. So super effective damage, resisting all our moves here. It couldn't get any worse, to be fair, and like this, we're going to have to hope that we can still get to a Power Punch here, which we don't. And yeah, this was literally the worst possible Pokemon to encounter in the back. With any other Pokemon, I think I would have been fine, but like not this one. So yeah, it's alright. We all have been there. Honestly, this is the worst possible Pokemon to face. Trevenant, I literally didn't even think about it because I see it so barely. Like, you don't really see it too often nowadays. In the Great League, at least I don't. Maybe in different elos it's different. Like, it's also a thing that a lot of people don't really understand. Where, like, people are... Like, recently... I think I made a team where it was triple weak to ice, and I didn't encounter... I think I encountered one ice type in total, and it was like, oh, this team wouldn't work in my elo range because there are so many ice types. That's totally true. Like, there are different elo ranges, different... also, if you don't see the elo right now, it's still there. Like, it's a hidden elo right now until you reach level 20. Then it's going to be public, but... there's always going to be different metas and different elo ranges, so definitely keep this in mind. Also, when you copy a team on YouTube or whatever, as we're going to be able to catch a seed bump here, which is really important, by the way, you always kind of have to keep in mind that those teams that you see are sometimes in a different elo range and are going up against different Pokemon, so they're going to work out in this elo range maybe, but not in a different one, so... Just keep this in mind. So definitely here I was not really expecting to see too many Charizards and Trevenants because I haven't really seen them too much recently. But of course, when we play this team here, we're going to see them all, as we're now going to I kind of still want to see what they're going to have in the back here right now, and they're going to allow me that, please. I will be able to get the knockout here. I just want to see what you have in the back. Of course, they try to deny it, but no, it's going to be a Carbink. So honestly, I don't want to play against Carbink anyway, so I'm totally fine losing this battle there anyway. So yeah. Carbink, not the Pokemon I want to play. Yeah, we're going to have, right now the matchup that I really wanted to show you as well. We're going to have the Medicham against us, and this is exactly the trap that I tried to build here with this team, as the Quaquaval going to be able to now lock this in, going to go for the aerial aces, which it gets to way faster, and I think I would be actually able to realign if I wanted to, but I just don't want to. I'm just going to let them knock me out here, as I will be able now to go ahead and go into my Cresselia, and I should be fine going for the farm down here. This is a very meta team, and I expect them to have something like a Registeel or something in the back, so I'm going to now try to actually get some more energy so I can swap out later with a Moonblast, but they're actually going to have the Registeel in the back, and like this, Poliwrath is going to be able to go to town, go for the Power Punch, and they saw the Power Punch and were like, yep, nope, I'm going to forfeit here. There was nothing they can do, and we will be able to win this game there without even having to try. So, final game for today's video. Again, if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like. It's free, it helps out quite a bit as the opponent. I don't know if they actually lagged or if they just got the moves back afterwards. Don't know, cannot really say it right now, but like it looked a little bit weird here in the beginning, so sorry if you lagged a little bit there, but here we're going to be able to still have the matchup against the Azumarill. It can be a little bit tricky, but now going to see the Sableye swapping in, and they're going to catch the Grass Knot, which they're still going to shield for whatever reason, but we don't have the best answers for the Sableye either on the team, so definitely not maybe the ideal team to use here for this, for this team in general. Maybe something like the Carbink lead would be better. Could be the case, I'm not sure, because you have two answers for steel types in the back, and you need an answer for flying type Pokemon, but then you're going to be weak against Lantern, so maybe not. So I don't know, like, I feel like Cresselia was a solid lead though, but here we're going to be able to get them fairly low already. I'm forced to use a shield here against the return, and we will see a Como O coming in. This was actually also the last battle that I played with this team in general, so it's always randomized in my videos, so like if you see something where I say, oh, it's a 8-game win streak, and you don't see an 8-game win streak in the video where there's like a loss in the middle of it, it's never in order, so that's most likely why. But this time around it's actually in order, at least for the last battle, which was also my last battle that I just did, and we will be able to knock out the Sableye, but this can actually still be a little bit tricky here, because Grass Knot is not going to get the knockout, and we still have to reach another one here, but Cresselia is just so broken and we're still going to be able to get to the Grass Knot right now and win this game. So, if you enjoyed it, feel free to also watch the video for the Fire Starter right now on the screen. Going to showcase all the other Pokemon that just got released as well on my channel, so definitely stay tuned and I'll see you then. Bye bye.